to the people of Block Road, on behalf of our political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and the chairman of the Siparia Regional Corporation, Dr. Glenn Ramana Singh, Aldermen and Councilors, I want to welcome you all here as we have our very first public forum meeting where we are meeting with the burgesses and citizens of the region of Siparia. We would like to begin this afternoon's proceedings, and I want to invite you all to stand as we sing the national anthem. And as good citizens, we would give the national anthem the respect it deserves. Stand at attention, hands at your sides, chest held high, and you sing. Can I invite you to remain standing as I invite my dear friend and brother, Pandit Surin Daniram, to lead us in a word of prayer. Pandit Surin Daniram, ladies and gentlemen.
Let us join in prayer. O radiant divinity, cause of all manifestations in the universe, source of existence, intelligence, and bliss, we meditate upon your adorable nature. May you illumine and inspire our intellect. You may be seated, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pandit Surin Daniram. Dearest friends, residents, members, we want to thank you for joining with us here this afternoon as we began our campaign, our open forum series of meetings to meet and treat with you, the residents of the Siparia Regional Corporation, to inform you, to keep you informed of all that is happening, or rather, all that is not happening. We want to hear your voices. We want to hear your concerns. We want to address those concerns with you. Tonight's meeting is not a traditional meeting where we come with a battery of top speakers and just force you to listen to us. We want to give you the opportunity to talk, and we want to listen. We are your servants, you are our masters. It is because of you we are here. You would know our visionary political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, has been leading a relentless battle as opposition leader. The people of Trinidad and Tobago now regrets that fateful decision that they made in 2015, and we have been regretting ever since. Our country is now in shambles. We at the Siparia Regional Corporation have seen it fit to take the mantle of leadership in this battle to inform the people and to bring them up to speed as to what's happening. I am Dinesh Sankasing, an alderman at the Siparia Regional Corporation, attorney at law, and the chairman of the Faizabad Constituency Executive, your humble servant. This afternoon, I want to invite a gentleman to bring some welcome remarks, and is a gentleman who you all know very well, a man who needs very little or no introduction. He is often referred to, or fondly referred to, as the voice of the voiceless. He can be heard almost every single morning championing the cause of the United National Congress, defending the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and working in their interests. a relentless and tireless worker, a man who was the main inspiration behind this meeting here this afternoon. I want us to welcome now to the microphone our dearest friend and counselor, Dudnat Meru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Alderman Dinesh Sankar Singh, my colleagues from Council, Councillor Chandradi Ramadas Singh, Councillor for Sidras Shankar Tilak Singh, Councillor for Mandezi Derek Borin, and our chairman who is on his way, my fellow brothers and sisters from Pluck Road and environs, my brothers from the Morning Panchayat. We have with us here Mr. Satish and Mr. Kiran. This program is being aired live on 106.1. We have with us here Mr. Bellman, Mr. Mandezi. And the purpose of today's meeting really is to share with the country and the world what happened here last year and what transpired from then to now. We want to hear from you how you suffered in 2017 and little or no relief that came to you. We want you to bring to the attention of the government of Trinidad and Tobago that you are citizens of this country and the wealth of this country don't belong to the PNM and their supporters. It belongs to us too in South Trinidad. Today we have to take a stand. We have to ensure that we are ready to stand and battle for what rightfully is ours. And the time has come. This is the time that we have to stand up and be counted. This is the time we have to send a message to the government of this country that we will not be sidelined and left out of what is rightfully ours. You would recall last year how we suffered in that flooding just after Diwali. I saw people crying. People lost every single thing in their homes. Government ministers visited here with us. They came in and little or no help whatsoever have come to you up to today. Today we are giving you an opportunity, as I said, to share with the government and the world your trials and your tribulations that you are facing with this present government. And I am hoping that you will take full use of the time allotted to you so that you can share your problems on the station 106.1, and we are streaming live on YouTube and unctt.org, and it is going on Facebook as well. So this is being seen all over the world. So I am asking you, do not feel shy. Come forward and make your plight known to the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Dudnat Meru. Friends, I just want to advise you, tonight's live broadcast is being brought to you courtesy Sadna Petroleum Company Limited, Deulal Enterprise Limited, Peter Kuhlman, and of course your chairman of the Siparia Regional Corporation, Dr. Glenn Ramadas Singh. Friends, it is perhaps very fitting that we have our very first meeting here at this ground in this community. And you can recall why. Not too long ago, water was everywhere. The river burst its banks and your homes were flooding out. We were here with you, led by Councillor Dudnat Meru and several members of your community. You suffered. You remained submerged underwater for days, I dare say weeks. The Prime Minister came with his ministers. Several other people came, including the now famous Minister of National Security. And what was the end result? Nothing. Nada. Nothing came forward for you. We are still waiting for assistance to be given. It is by dint of hard work and the combining of our efforts and the volunteering of some good souls, some corporate sponsors and some individuals who dipped their hands in their pockets that reached out and helped you in their time of need. And your government of the day failed you again and again and again. I told you this afternoon our meeting will be taking a different flavor, a different course. We want to hear from you. We want to know what are your concerns, because it would seem as though a lot of the media, a lot of the popular voices that were so very vocal and present prior to September 2015 have now gone silent. No one complains. They accept the misery and suffering, flooding all over the place. Crime has spiraled out of control. Women have been killed, maimed, murdered without care. Children have been sacrificed. Men have been shot, wounded. And what is the response of the police? What is the response of the government? Nothing, nada. And remember, this is the same government when they were in opposition. They what? They had all the answers. They had all the answers. Every Monday morning was a news conference. They could solve the problems of Trinidad and Tobago. And now they have been in government for more than 2 years. And what is the result? We are 10 times worse than we were prior to 2010. Friends, this afternoon, I want you to reflect on the lack of medical attention, medical facilities. We have money to pay for an absent government minister to the value of millions of dollars, but we do not have money to cater for the innocent children who need surgical operations. They are told what? They have to wait. They cannot get more than $60,000, but millions are being spent elsewhere. I want you to remember that. But I'm not going to hog the limelight here, because you know there's a little clip on YouTube going around where passengers on the way to Tobago had to jump from one ship to the next. And I'm told that somebody almost fell through. Is that true, Councillor Meru? That is the fate of our brothers and sisters in Tobago. No voices will be heard. So now this afternoon, we want to have an open public forum. As Councillor Meru said, we do not want you to be afraid, to be intimidated, to think that if I speak out, I will be victimized. Friends, if you stay silent, the abuse will continue. For far too often we have seen the result. An abuser, a perpetrator continues the abuse unless you stand up and you speak out. And tonight is where we start the pushback. Tonight is where we start to say enough is enough and we are not going to take it anymore. So at this point in time, I want to ask Councillor Meru to make a mic available. And I want to have you, the residents of Pluck Road, this community, to tell us what are your concerns, what are your issues. Tell us what we need to do. Tell us how we need to take this battle forward. Don't just sit there and wait and hope something happens. Let us make something happen. We now have an open forum here. And whilst I await you to come forward, and you will please talk into the mic, just give us your name. It doesn't have to be a full name. Just give us a first name. If you are a resident here or not, what is your concern? We have some note takers who will be taking notes, and we will be referring these problems to the appropriate places. And more than that, we will be taking these problems to find a solution. Yes, Councillor Meru.
Okay. We have one gentleman here who suffered in the flooding last year. Come, sir. Your name, your address, and...
My name is Keynote, I live at Akalu Trees, Pluck Road. And I'm making 69 years of age. I live and I go here in Pluck Road. And I just thank everybody here who here tonight that my name is Keynote Lala. And first to begin all together, it's a plenty of crime going on in this country right now. It's a killing, it's a robbing, it's a kidnapping. And the government and the police and them are doing nothing for nobody. Nothing and just nothing. And again, the amount of rivers you have from Woodland come down to St. Trace. It has 9 rivers. What cleaning, it never cleaned for years. And why is it they had this flooding more? Because the river in them is not cleaned properly. And again, if they clean the rivers, the thing will be alright still, you know, if they clean out the grass from the river. And the water go run off. Look how much flood we get in this year. And last year, we get 4 flood here. Below my house had 4 feet and a half water. And I bawl and cry. I had to look, all my plies, my washing machine, my fridge, and everything soak up and just float away. And it spoiled and I get nothing for it yet. Just nothing. Just nothing. This whole road from that to Woodland, all inside the trace, all through the trace, all over around, was flooded out with water. I never see a flood so in my life. That's the biggest flood I ever think about. And may God bless all you. That is, government is not doing nothing for nobody. Kamala was the greatest prime minister to have come in this country right now. And plus, the 1 hour extension to the voting system, that will make Kamala lose this election. You know? But Kamala was the best prime minister in this country. Who here was here? And may God, Lord Jesus Christ, show the blessing upon her to keep her happy, safe, and good. And let her win back this country back again. I have to thank her very much. She have no job, you have no road opening, no school building, no bridge building, nothing. And this man only shorting off everything, just keeps her only and in boot. Very much. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Well said.
So my friend has set the tone for the meeting this evening. We await another person who would want to speak this afternoon. Where's my friend from Down Pluck Road? This lady lost her entire home. Her home has to be demolished from the foundation up. Tell us your name, where you live, and tell us how much you lost and what you have to do to recover your house.
Well, my name is Annette Subram Singh. I live at La Fortune Pluck Road. When we had this flood, I lose every single thing. Everything. My daughter even lose her car. She lose her car. She had to rent 3 vehicles because Arima she going to work. And right now, my house is demolishing. It need to demolish because the whole house is cracked and falling down. The whole house. It have nothing left in the house. Every single thing we lost. Fridge, stove, washing machine, anything you think about, we lose everything. Everything we lose.
What's the value of your losses?
Well, we value the losses is plenty money because my daughter is had to rent a vehicle for $600 a day. Nobody wanted to rent a car for her because Arima and they say you have to rent an X-Trail or a Tucson. And it's for 3 months. She trying to fix her car and up to now it fixed because from the brain box everything gone in the car. Brain box. But damages to the house, we had to, the house had to demolish. It have to demolish because the slightest rain come, it will right through crack in the house. Right through. We lose every single thing. There is nothing remain.
Have you received any compensation?
Only $10,000 and we bought a bottle for $5,000 and the flood come and take it back. All the height we put it, for New Year's we get flood. And we bought some plastic chairs and some plastic table. That is all. Yeah, nothing more than that.
Tell the minister what you want to tell him and the minister of housing what you want to tell him. Minister of housing. We will hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I have to rebuild my house. My house have to rebuild. The whole structure have to demolish and build over. And if we could get some help, I'll be thankful for that. Thank you very much.
So she lost her entire home. I was at her home yesterday, and because of the volume of water, the foundation is not as strong as it is. And then this roadway here is another problem. Those extra heavy units that drive on this road here usually vibrates the homes in this area. So the foundation in her home is gone, and the home itself is falling apart. That home, I estimate that value to be about $150,000, and she only received $10,000. Mr. Big, I want you to come and give me your plight.
Good afternoon everyone. My name is Suleiman Beg. I live just by the big river there. I'm sure everybody is aware of it. One of my main concerns in that river is lack of maintenance of that river, which stretches from that new river straight back to the Woodland Hindu School. If you notice the river by the Woodland Hindu School, there's 1 foot of water in it. Check Bagmania, how much water that have. Check Drudge, how much water that have. Check the New River, how much water that have. Check the floodgate, which is supposed to be the main concern of the draining of the water to the Oropucha River. That is by the floodgate. How many gates are in operation? Now, a couple weeks ago, they did some work on the riverbank, which is a very, 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 very poor work. Because what we're noticing is there are vehicles that is running on the riverbank, which should not be. Which should not be. I have spoken to the councillor in connection with a property which is built in the river, blocking the water course. That should not be. Why that cannot be evacuated, taken down, clear the river course. Clear the river course. The people from San Francisco here, Pluck Road, straight back to Woodland, by Mongol Shop, even a little further down, we all was in a serious, serious problem with the amount of flood which comes in the area. I have been living here for 62 years. And it is the first time in my whole entire life we have 3 floods in 1 year. I had was to take my grandchildren away from home, water more than their waist. Why that have to be so? When the Prime Minister came to the Woodland, came to the New River, the big river there, he said, yes, we will see about it. If it was a Syrian one, they'd have done see about it. If it was a Syrian one, they'd have done see about it. But no, we just set a stupid fools living here. If Syrian they living here, man, we'd have been living in real good standards. Who cares about it? Look how much people here that'll be planting garden. Look how much people that'll be mining animal. How much animal get killed and nobody knows, nobody says, nobody, you know. It go on in one edge, it come out in the next one. But little to be done. And we must be able to stand on our feet and talk out. We all must thank the people who get together to assist us during that flood by giving us something to put in our mouth, a mouthful of food, a bottle of water. We must thank the councillor who have motivated a lot of us in doing things that which is important to human consumptions. We don't know when our turn will come, but little do we know what is right for us should be given to us. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Big. This lady lives at Centennial Trace. She was not affected by the flooding, but her home was destroyed by fire 2 years ago. And I will let her tell you. Your name?
Hi, good night, everyone, and a warm welcome to each and everyone. My name is Indra. I live at Centennial Trace, and about 2 years now, 2 years and more, my house was destroyed. Every little thing I had in my home, clothes, food, money, everything you could think about. And several police and people from all over the place, Siparia, everyone came. Everyone, people upon people, police upon police, everybody came. Up till today, 2 years and something, no help from nobody, and the government refused to listen what I'm saying, and they refused to give me any extra dollar, not $1 extra. And even I was getting a help disability grant, they they threatened me to take that away also. That little bit of money I get in every month, the people threatening to take that money, they asking every day for something from me, money. And that is all remain. And they threaten me every day, they want that, they want that, they want some. It's just the fire report I don't have because they stole it. Well, who stole it? The government squeezing everything. Nothing without that, nothing at all. They don't want to know how I'm making out for the month. But nothing at all came. And the amount of people came and visit me. Well, that is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you heard her plight, and we have been visiting her, and we are trying to get a house constructed through an NGO that will soon be coming. If there's anybody who wants to assist her, she's living in a little galvanized 10 by 10, and she's really living in a deplorable condition. We really appreciate any kind of help towards the reconstruction of her home in Centennial Trace. Floor is still open for anybody who wants to describe what they lost, how much they lost, what they receive, and not so. We have dedicated 1 hour of the time here on radio for you to make your plight. So, and this is paid time, so we want you to come forward. Don't feel shy. And tell us, let the government know what took place last year and how you are suffering still. Name?
Thank you. Good night, everyone. My name is Shirley. I am from the village right here, just across the road. My purpose in asking for this moment is to raise the issue of special needs persons when we have disasters like we had in October. In Dr. Ramadhar Singh's tenure as Minister in the Ministry of Social Welfare, I remember him initiating a project where we were to establish a register of special needs persons. Unfortunately, perhaps that was not completed. And this plea is to ask the current government to put on some rolling skates and get this project done, and to say locally to my own MP, maybe we could start generating this in our own constituency, because the experience I have my special needs niece here with me. She is a person with Down syndrome, and when the floods came up overnight, we had to get her to climb through a window to get into a yard that was higher than the house. And by the next day, the struggle to get her out of this community was unbelievable to somewhere that was safer. And I want to publicly thank the young people who gave us a lift in a farmer from here to Woodlands so we can make our way out from there. We urgently need a register for special needs persons, not just people like my niece, but we have elderly people in the community. Again, we had a widow living on her own who was severely affected by the flood. We have other vulnerable people, and if on a by constituency basis, we can encourage our MPs to set up this register, the help will come very quickly, I am sure. It was not easy sitting with a child who didn't understand what was happening in a farmer between here and Woodland. And again, I thank that group of young people who turned every huge wave created by a 3-ton truck coming in the other direction into a game with her. They played with her. Every wave, they turned it into something exciting to reduce her fear. And I'm sorry I didn't take their names, but thank you, whoever you are who was in that farmer. I also want to say, to carry on the conversation about the rivers. I have been in this community all my life, save a few years abroad, and there is a story about the floodgates. And if the story is not true, then we would like to know exactly how many floodgates have been repaired. We heard at the flood time there were 14 and many were out of action. These floodgates have a history of being a weapon to persecute the people of the Oropouche belt because of their political preference. And if this isn't true, then we would like to see a hasty repair of these floodgates. It is not right that people who have freedom of choice, who live in a democratic society, are punished for the way they choose to vote. This is absolutely wrong. So those are the two pleas. I would be willing to assist in compiling the register in my constituency if that will speed up matters, and we hope we hear their plea. And finally, perhaps we should take up a collection to buy a pair of tall boots, because it seems this government doesn't know what a tall boots is. And since times are so hard and we may not get enough money amongst all of us, perhaps we could send some photographs. I was absolutely astounded that the officials who came supposedly to our assistance for the floods actually didn't have a tall boots. It didn't matter that they didn't come with a bottle of water in their hand. That is okay. We are the children of farmers and the grandchildren of farmers. We know how to survive. But it would have been wonderful to see them come with a tall boot so they can cross the threshold and come into our yard and see how much we were struggling. So we could start the tall boots collection, and we could see about the flood, and let us help people like my niece. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I will make the first donation of $1 towards that tall boots. So I started it with $1. Ramesh? So you see, this is what we want to achieve this evening. I am sure that somebody in government probably listening or looking on and will get the message and take it to the relevant authority. That is why we are here and allowing you to speak to us.
Good night, everybody. My name is Sanilal. I'm the president of the Pluck Ridge Village Council. Firstly, let me welcome all the visitors, Dr. Glenn Ramada Singh, chairman, all the councillors. 106.1, Mr. Bellman, my good partner from way up in Moruga. Welcome to Pluck Road. This is what we are on today, is the Pluck Road Recreation Ground. Firstly, let me start with the ground. If you look around, if you take a look around and watch the lights, right? Firstly, I want to thank Mr. Meru for having installed that lights a couple of years ago, who haven't gotten it installed. But now we need it repaired. Watch, we have one light lighted out of 14 on our pool there. One, about 5 down there and so on. So that is the first job we need get in this area, the lights working again, so we can have a little night cricket and so on. This recreation ground, we played one of the highest level of cricket in Trinidad and Tobago, which is Division 1. We had people like Simmons and Leonard Simmons and Lara and all these guys come down on this ground. So it is an achievement here, and this is one of our flagship of the whole area. Secondly, I want to go on to the pavilion. The pavilion, right now, the galvanized, on a daily basis, we pass, you would see the galvanized flapping. Some galvanized, the screws and whatnot rotten, it need changing. About a week or two ago, a guy from the corporation came and did our estimate. I don't know when they would be doing repairs. We need the pavilion painted. We need the washroom fixed and so on. When we have visitors, visiting teams, it is a shame to see where the facilities we had to offer them. Okay, and we are still playing Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board of Control cricket. Thirdly, we want to go on the road. On a daily basis, I would complain on the radios with my good friends Satish and Kiran. They know about I just call it the problem of the road by the opposite the Pentecostal church, the crater in Pluck Road. It is really a crater. You're going down about 6 feet and you're trying, because one day Satish was up there and he was saying he didn't know where to pass. But you have to pass there. Every day we pass there, and it is still there, and nobody seems to care. Minister upon minister, minister from way back when, I can't remember the name, but every time I call, I say, we are not in Trinidad. We are living in Venezuela. So I recall somebody, president from Venezuela might fix our road faster than the government of Trinidad and Tobago. That is one of the issues. The next issue you want to get on is the flooding. I want to thank Mr. Meru and people like Dr. Ramada Singh and a good friend Babulal from Wassa, who lives somewhere up in Sando, who came on a daily basis with food and drinks and all kind of things for the people. We were out there about 5 to 6 days, actually looking at people, helping people. People were actually crying. Imagine you wake up one morning and see your bed floated. That was the reality in Pluck Road, 6 feet of water in people's house, and nobody cares. We had the minister, we had Mr. Dillon was here, Mr. Kazim Hussain. Who was the other? About 3 or 4 ministers came, and yet we got nothing, absolutely nothing. Look, this house right behind the pavilion there, that roof went off, and after about 6 or 8 months, then they get us some assistance. Well, I see the roof on back now. Right, so that is how they treat us down in this area. As my good friend Big said, if they had cereals in this area, everything would have be living in paradise. We'd have be virtually living in paradise. But we are in Pluck Road, and this is our opposition constituency, so that's why we had to bear the burden of all these things. Right, back to the rivers. Now, I was reading the papers today. I saw where the JSC had the Ministry of Works, the Drainage Division in front of the JSC in Parliament. And they couldn't give a good reason or a good plan as to when they were going to repair or clean the rivers. My good friend here, Mr. Ali, what's his name? I can't remember his proper name. He said they lost 7 animals, right? He living right in Akalu Trace there. They lost 7 animals drowned in the flood. He's told me that the rivers behind their house has not been cleaned for the last 15 or 20 years. And the river's passing right there, so where the water will go? It has to flood the area. So imagine the Ministry of Works don't have a plan. Well, it seems as though nobody in government has a plan right now. Right, it's only when the fishermen and them come to catch cascaroo, they clean a certain area and they hold the cascaroo. But we need the rivers to be dredged. I want to bring on my good partner, Mr. Binder, who will talk about the entire drainage system. This is the man in Pluck Road who has the blueprint for all the rivers in this community. So, Mr. Binder, I want to pass the mic on to you now to talk to the people about all the rivers by name and which we need dredging. It has not been cleaned and we need it to be done. And the bad thing about this, when they started to dredge these rivers, they just send the equipment, and the equipment is clean 100 feet from the main road, and they would stop, as though you can't see beyond the 100 feet. That has to stop. It has to. So, Mr. Binder, I will now pass it back on to Mr. Roland Binder, who is another resident from the area.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Roland Binder, a resident from this very said region. In terms of the flooding situation, first I will talk about part of the drainage system stems off from the San Francisco Presbyterian School coming down. That water flowing from the school comes down into the Centeno Trace, Chicory Trace passing through. That particular area the drainage need to be upgraded in that particular region because we have a vast area there that is being heavily flooded. Then that will come through from Chicory Trace through a narrow drain into Centeno Trace, then to the St. Louis River that flows into Dock Pond. Here in this particular region, there is a lot of tributaries that leads to the Dock Pond main river. And those tributaries and rivers need totally cleaning altogether. One, it just now indicated that the silt has accumulated for over 5 feet in that particular area. Also, too, some of the drain from like Canhelal Trace, from the other trace in this particular region over here, all to the side over here, all those traces, tenant trace need to be drained properly. There is the barrier from that tenant region. All that water has come and accumulate, resulting in heavy flooding. That water will filter into the small tributaries that flows into the Dock Pond River, but that yet is being totally clogged altogether. Then we come to the Newcut Channel. The Newcut Channel have seriously overflowed on 3 occasions, of which you have heard recently with all those members talking from Plakodia region. That is a very, very serious threat to the community of this particular region. Firstly, the June flooding, when we have the privilege of witnessing such a terrible situation, having such impression that that would have been the big flood, upcome the Diwali season, that was the biggest flood for the century probably. The government haven't done anything. I have a meeting on the very said riverbank in June with the Prime Minister Rowley on the riverbank there. He did indicate at that particular point in time which the rivers will be cleaned, especially during the dry season. We are in the dry season right now, but nothing is being done. April is approaching, nothing is being done so far. from that particular meeting, only one river were cleaned, which was the Bhagmanya River. Bhagmanya River were partly cleaned, and that helped contribute towards the draining of the Oropuj Lagoon. Now, coming back to the Newcourt Channel, that was a river which was dug in 1962 or thereabout by the then government Williams when he was in power. And that period of time, when that river was dug, it helped drain the whole Oropuj Lagoon. That bringing water from St. Mary's, Maruga, Barakpur, Clark Road, Rushad Road, from Penal, Queenham, all those areas, all those tributaries, all are what have to pass through here. With the overgrowth to the side of the big river, all the way to the banks, resulting in the water overflowing, rising and overflowing into the low-lying region. And when that was so powerful, it actually cut the riverbank. To the members of the regional corporation, well, Mr. Mayu is here, that riverbank further down need to be examined. I will make a request with Mr. Mayu to bring the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Works, to have a tour of that Newcourt Channel Bank. Lower down, I have walked it and looked at it very carefully. By next 2 months or so, when the rainy season starts, that's going to totally flood the area again. The people who living in this extreme low-lying area, if that isn't fixed, brace your back once again for the continued flooding which resulted in last year. It will be continuing. The bank on the other side, on this side, is just about 2 feet from the low-lying area. When the water come a bit high, that's going to overflow as well. Further down, half of the bank cut. No one have been taken any from the ministry to have a look of that. On the last occasion, the December-January flooding, I must say thanks to DS Limited, my friend Y. Charlie. I have asked him for his excavator, his truck, of which he have lent us. We make some contribution by providing something, and he gave a donation to the repairing and the fixing of the bank with the assistance from Kumari, from the Ministry of Works, rendering the trucks and the dirt, supplying that, and we fixed that voluntarily. When you see that big riverbank there was fixed voluntarily by us, by the people of Block Road here. The government didn't have much input. Afterwards, they came and they just replenished the bank where we all have already fixed. Well, now it is a road for the van to go higher up. The Bhagmanya, the George River, actually was one of the main rivers. That river never cleaned for the last couple of years gone by, probably more than 10 years or so. So too with Bhagmanya has been cleaned. But there is another small little tributary named, but the bridge itself is the Hangman Bridge, which the local residents will know. That river, all those rivers need cleaning its tributaries. The gate, someone talked about the gate earlier. 4 gate is not functioning at all. Many a times we gone make touring by the gate there, and there are 2 pumps. One in which you just have to press a knob, and whenever you go there, sometimes you get the sluice gate operator, so well, you have to get a pump operator. So the people again have been debarred from. So we encounter so many different problems with flood in terms of flooding. The flooding has been seriously increasing in this particular area, and if that riverbank is not being repaired, additionally, we're going to be facing worse than what we have last year. So we're making a plea to the government of the day to make send their representative to come and have a look at the riverbank so that it can be upgraded properly to avoid flooding in the future. If not, we are in serious situation. The other thing too, what they should take into consideration is the river courses, the Newcourt Channel river courses need to be cleaned thoroughly. Too much of the branches and the trees has overgrown and resulting in the river being clogged, not pulling all those water thoroughly at all. So the free flow of the water is being debarred. That is one of the reasons why we get this heavy flooding. When the water is supposed to go down, it coming up and overflowing the bank and cutting the bank. So we encounter lots of problems through that avenue. Another concern in this area is that the traveling public, we had a bus system that has gone altogether. So the people who's traveling, they sometimes they wait for 2 hours, 3 hours. Then when they reach to San Fernando, they may have to take a Siparia taxi, pay the Siparia fare, additionally $2 or so from $10, and then they will reach home. So that is another thing we need to raise to the government to relieve our situation and problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minda. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sonilal raised an issue with particularly with the pavilion. Mr. Sonilal, this is up for renovation and it will happen in about 2 months' time. It is presently being worked on. Estimates have already been prepared. The cost of refurbishing this is $110,000. Dr. Glenn Ramadas has already committed that money to repair here. So you're in good hands. And to let you know, the lights on this ground was off. It was only connected 2 days ago. Yesterday, we got this. So tomorrow, I'll be making representation to have the blown bulbs changed. I have a gentleman with me here, Mr. Baldat. He lost over $100,000 in livestock. And I will bring him on to let him tell you what he lost and what he received.
Good night, good night. My name is Balrat Motilal. I live just before the Bagmania River. As you already heard that Mr. Roland Binder said, there's a river they call Hangman Bridge, right? The water was crossing over that. And a lot of them who was in the flood and were passing around saw what I lost. I lost 28 heads of pigs, 10 sheep and 10 goat who died. There's a guy outside there whose name is Liston. He spent most of his time on the bridge watchmaning the rest that was alive. All I'm asking is what this government pays for. They told me when I went in the farm, they said they don't pay for no livestock. They pay for trees. When we asked them how much they're paying for one tree, they said 10 cents. 10 cents. You imagine that. You buying a plant for $2, $3, up to $5, and this government paying 10 cents. So apparently, we're doing nothing good in this environment by planting or by mining livestock. So all I'm asking is when we will get compensation for the roof that fly out. That's one. And if we will be getting any compensation for our livestock. Thank you. Good night.
So you see, friends, tonight you are hearing firsthand what happened in this area, the kind of losses our people suffered, and what they received from government. Nothing at all. 28 pig, 7 goat. You're talking about nearly $100,000 in livestock, and he probably got about $10,000. He probably buy $10,000 in feed in 6 months' time to feed those pigs. This is what we are faced with. So the forum is still open. We have 10 more minutes for you to make your contribution. Is there anyone else who want to come forward? Oh, sorry.
Good night, everyone. My name is Pramila Prasad. I represent the St. John Trace Village Council. I am the president of the St. John Trace Village Council. This is a little way out of this area. It's on the going out to the Master Junction side. Good night, everyone, again. Mr. Chairman, all councillors, chairman of the Regional Corporation, members of the media, good night. I will start with the beginning of St. John's Trace. We have a landslide which is being created right now because of water, excess water running down. That's between the Namdeo residents and the Ramnarayan residents, which we would appreciate the corporation look into. Also, there's a landslide which has been there for about 2 years in Namdeo Trace. About 6 months, sorry. Well, it's just about 6 months. A year, okay. Right, so we would really appreciate some assistance with that. Additionally, we have an activity center, and it has been going in 2 years, and we've been trying to get electricity back onto that activity center. We would appreciate assistance with that. We've been going to the community development, but we have not gotten any assistance with that as yet. We're still awaiting assistance. Also, we have a recreation ground. We have a pavilion and a toilet facility which definitely need repairs. It's dilapidated, and we would really like to have that repaired and looked into. And again, as everybody spoke about the flooding, dredging of the rivers, I agree. We need to have all the rivers dredged. There's one in the river also in St. John Trace, which is connected to the sluice gate, which has to be dredged. It has not been dredged in years. Right now, if you stand on the bridge of that river, all you can see is 1 foot of water. The rest of it is just grass covered and overgrown all over, and they're not dredging that river. Also, I can confirm that the floodgate is not working. It has not been working for quite some time, and the Ministry of Works is fully aware of it. Because 2 months before the flooding that we had in October, we were noticing that the water wasn't moving as it's supposed to. I called Ministry of Works, and I told them about it. They said they would look into the matter. After we got that severe flooding, which I was devastated by, because my home, my parents' home, all the neighbors around us were devastated with that flood. We are still trying to recover and put back our home together. Now, when I spoke to them after the flooding, then they confirmed to tell me that the gate is not working. So I asked, well, why isn't it working? Why wasn't it repaired? The answer that the ministry gave me, Ministry of Works in Penal, they told me they can't find a contractor to fix the floodgate. That was the answer. They can't find the contractor because the contractor that made the floodgate is no longer in the country, so they couldn't find another contractor. So we have to suffer. All the neighbors around us in that particular area have suffered tremendously from that flood, and we have not gotten any compensation. I can safely say for myself, my parents, and the neighbors next door to me, we have not gotten any compensation. When I went to I went to community development to find out about the flooding and the compensation, they can't find my papers. They tell me I have to call Port of Spain. I call Port of Spain tell me I have to call back Siparia, and that they're giving me a runaround. They can't find my documents. They don't know where it is. So we would really appreciate some assistance with the compensation as well. Additionally, there were some box drains that was built about 2 years ago from light pole 75 to light pole 18, the lower part of St. John Trace. When the drains were built, we were very appreciative. We thought that something good would have come out of that. Unfortunately, it's more than 2 years now, and they have never come to clean those drains. Never. They made the drains, they left the side of the road loose with sand. I asked them to fill the road, the edges of the road. They tell me in the dry season. We've passed 4 dry seasons, in 2 years. No assistance. The drains need to clean. If they clean the drains, we would not have been so devastated with the flood. Yes, it's a flood-prone area, but it would not have been so devastating. And I would really appreciate that they look into that particular area with the drains where it's not being kept. And as I mentioned in the branch, where the sluice gate is, there's a bridge before that, which definitely need repairs. That's in the branch road of St. John Trace. We have over 50 families who's been affected. The bridge is going to fall apart at any time now, and they are not looking into fixing that bridge. It definitely needs some attention. We would appreciate if the corporation would try to assist or make some headway with the ministry to have that bridge repaired, because it's a lot of people. If that bridge collapses, it means that those people, those families are going to be cut off from civilization. So we would appreciate also that on that branch road that they look into the bridge. And that's it. Thank you.
So, Madam President of the Village Council, just to allay some of your fears, the landslip in Namdale Trace, an estimate was done for that through the regional corporation. The estimate for that project is over $1 million, which is out of the corporation's way. It was sent to the ministry, and we are waiting approval for that particular landslip. That bridge that you spoke about, that 50 families is being affected. The Minister of Works and Transport came to St. John Trace and went with Dr. Bodo and myself and looked at that firsthand. You remember that, Mr. Chattagun? And the Minister of Agriculture came to and saw it. And you see, this according to Mr. Big, I don't want to say, tell them Big. If it was what? You understand? So this is the problem we have. So, Chandra?
Good night. My name is Chandra Azad. I'm also a member of the St. John Trace Village Council. About 2 weeks ago, I went to the sluice gate, and they had Ministry of Works people fixing onto the gate. So I turned up there, and the man, I asked him, I said, well, it's a good thing. We will stop getting flood. You know what he tell me? When you build house in the lagoon, you expect to get flood. I didn't build house in the lagoon. If you had cleaned the river, we would not have had that. I went back last week, 2 days ago. They took off the heads of the valve, and they went with it, and nothing is being done. Anyhow, Ale Pramila's feelings too with that. My MP, Dr. Lakram Bodo, brought it up in Parliament today. He questioned them about when the repairs to the sluice gate will be done. Thank you.
Tenant number 1.
Yeah, tell them how to protest.
Good night, everyone. My name is Deunarain Harry. I'm from Tenant Branches number 1. You know, recently we had a water problem there. For about 3 weeks to a month, we didn't have water on the hill, the higher part of Tenant, and Ramcharan Trace. We had a little protest last week. We had a protest last week concerning the water, and I'm hoping at least they release water for us once or twice a week. They had a water schedule there, but we don't get our water on the scheduled time again. And as I issue I want to raise here concerning my wife. She had a problem with GI. She still had a problem with GI. What happened? Behind her eye, something is lifting off, they call it, I forget the name they call it. And she had to get an operation for that eye, and it's costing like $30,000. And I don't have that fund right now to do the operation. And we made a request to the government concerning the surgery for the eye since 2015. And every time we call, they say they have no funding. The government didn't release funding. But somebody told us they grant they approved the letter, right? But no funding. So we're still waiting on that. If anybody could help concerning that, I'll be thankful.
Okay, I'll come and I'll see you, and I will see what arrangement we can make with respect to making some representation on your behalf for that surgery. So this will be our last person we'll be taking, and we have allotted 1 hour. It's exactly 1 hour. So I'll give him 2 minutes to make his contribution.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ramki Sunram Prasad, better known as Roland. I live at 328 La Fortune Block Road. Concerning the flood, I had about 2 feet of water underneath my house. I had to take my goat and put them on a table like this, right, underneath the house. All right, besides that now, I have a problem with a box drain in front of my house. This drain started on the 11th of October 2013, when we had the MP, which is Stacey Rupnaran. I went by her on the 29th of October and concerning the drain and telling her it wasn't billing the proper way. She told me, all right, she will come. She came on the 2nd of December 2013. Okay. Since that, I've been complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining. The last complaint I went to was Badal. The man is as dumb as the back of a spoon, to start with. He's dumb as the back of a spoon. He want to run a grade and a drain by centimeter. Number one. He has some books here, they will tell you if it's a line. I take a level and a line and I come out and I show him what he had to do. He still tell me, hush me more, I know what I'm doing. But he know what he's doing. Okay. I went on the 20th of September last year. He tell me, well, he get in a jackhammer. Imagine he building a drain, put in concrete. And when he done put the concrete, a surveyor come and give him a reading. The reading, when he done, he had to get a jackhammer and bust out with 6 inches of concrete. The first he put it so high that the water started to back in my foot. All right. I go on him with him. He tell me get a jackhammer. That was a Tuesday. The Thursday he's sending somebody to bust the concrete because right now I would like you and all to go and see come and see the drain. The water black like shit on like that underneath the drain. Right?
We're going to deal with it, don't worry. I'll come and see.
Well, I finish here? I have to go about 10 minutes because why would they? Yeah, well, no, well, it's not a meeting you come here to keep?
Yeah, but we are looking at hour for public speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to thank, we see this is paid time and we allotted 1 hour for the public and we are way past 8 o'clock and we will not be able to transmit the broadcast after 9. So if we go into the after 8, then we'll have to cut back on our program. So I want to thank everybody who contributed here this evening and we will now have the chairman and the councillors addressing the concerns of the citizens and the residents of the area. I hand you back now to the chairman.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Councillor Dudnat Meru, and all those who spoke and contributed. It is good to know that your concerns will be addressed, but we had to hear your voices and we have to register your complaints. I want to recognize all my fellow councillors, not only from the Siparia Regional Corporation, from Debe, Princestown. I see some people from San Fernando as well, Point 14. We thank you for joining with us. Remember, the battle has now begun. And as we move forward, I just want to remind you as we wax nostalgic here this afternoon, I want you to remember, you know, as a child, your parents always referred to the good old days. Popo, remember that? Your parents always tell you about it. They spoke about the good old days. I want to remind you of the good old days, and the good old days wasn't so far away. The good old days was simply before September 2015. When we had the distinguished, dynamic leadership of a prime minister who cared. Remember the good old days when we had the baby grant, when we had food subsidy for every special occasion, when we had food cards. We had a minister like Dr. Glenn Rabada Singh who went out and met with the people and demonstrated that he cared. Remember when we had the Children's Fund that saved the lives of so many children. The good old days was just before September 2015. Remember that. And as we go forward now and in the future, we are yearning and we are longing for those good old days to come back. But hold strain, the good old days will be back soon. We want to continue our meeting here tonight, and we have a battery of speakers to address your concerns, to speak to you, to inform you. Our first speaker, well, apparently he stepped away from the microphone now. So I am going to call a gentleman who has occupied the national attention for some time. He has served as a United National Congress senator. I want you to put your hands together as we welcome now Mr. Danny Maraj, who will address us. Welcome, Brother Danny Maraj.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Special good afternoon to the residents of Block Road, those that are listening on to the media. Special good afternoon to Dr. Glenn Ramadas Singh, the Chairman of the Siparia Regional Corporation, a man of distinguished service, a man who is redefining service in this region, and his outstanding team of councillors and aldermen. Let us give them a round of applause. This afternoon is an example of representation and innovation. When there is suffering, when there is suffocation, when there is blockage, we must find an opening and a pathway, and our voices must rise to the heavens and the surface, and we must be heard as a people of Trinidad and Tobago. As I stand before you in this moment, and as we know together, as citizens of this country, we exist in a perilous state as a nation. I want to say we must understand that our fundamental human rights are facing a full and forceful and frontal attack by this PNM administration. Do you agree? Each and every day that goes by since they have occupied office in this country, each day we drift further and further away from the rule of law and from any semblance of basic governance in this country. There exists, and I know we all feel it as a people, there exists a void of leadership at the national level in government. There seems to be an absence. There seems to be no direction, and we know there is no plan. Do you agree? As citizens of this country, today we fight for a basic essential. We fight for our very survival. Imagine when most of us rise in the morning, when we wake, and when we prepare ourselves to engage in a productive day's work. Others, the criminals, the evildoers, they too rise. They too rise and they prepare. They prepare for cartels. They prepare for home invasions. They prepare to rape. They prepare to rob. And they prepare to murder like never before in Trinidad and Tobago. They have a new and increasing sense of power and determination. This is the criminal element of Trinidad and Tobago. They are strengthening themselves and they are finding a new confidence. Where is this coming from? Where is the representation? Where are those that hold office, that have a sacred duty to represent and protect us as citizens of this country? They are absent. They are non-existent. And to add onto our pains, to add onto our sorrows, thousands of our people, our brothers and cousins, our friends, our neighbors, our fellow men, they have lost their form of employment. And many more jobs are on the verge. I know you know it, because we live together in this society and we speak together. But the most of Trinidad and Tobago know this, but a few handful seems not to know. You must understand why, my brothers and sisters. Families, parents, head of households, they like never before face challenging financial circumstances. Whether it is to deal with their food bills, their utilities, their home mortgage payments, their car installments, their school finances, or whatever it may be. It is difficult to put the dollars together and make them add up and make them meet. It is not happening. I want to deal with businesses too. because we are a people of free enterprise. We're people that like to work and grow and offer service and contribute to society. But businesses have closed. Do you all know that businesses that have closed? Do you know businesses that are on the verge of closure? Do you know businesses have downsized? Do you know that out there is dwindling profit margins in businesses? This is the nature and state of our economy. My brothers and sisters, when I interact with members of our society, I gain information, and the information speaks to where our citizens have already started to migrate. And others are planning migration. And now, additionally, others are thinking about the idea of moving. There has been significant capital flight in this country, where monies are now being taken to foreign territories for security and investment because there's a loss of hope in Trinidad and Tobago, my brothers and sisters. Do you agree? I say, in this new moment, let us reflect for a second. And I want to ask a few questions. Do you feel better off today than 2.5 years ago? Do you feel better off? Do you feel safer? Are you more hopeful today than 2.5 years ago? Brothers and sisters, the honest answer, when we answer these questions, when we put away any sense of political inheritance orientation, when we dig into our deep instinct as persons, the answer is that the government of Trinidad and Tobago today is unwilling, unable, incapable, or encapsulated in a fictitious reality that results in the basic national governance of Trinidad and Tobago. That is the reality. This government is presiding over the worst assault and battery and what I define as murder of our fundamental constitutional rights. That is a right such as the right of life, liberty, and security of person. Rights such as the right of enjoyment of property and freedom of movement. These things may sound like, sometimes they sound up in the air, but when you think about it, we need to confine ourselves in structured self-imprisonment, where we must lock our doors by 6 and be careful where we go. Ensure that when we reach somewhere, we make a phone call. Have you arrived? This is the form of lifestyle far away from that sacred entrustment in our constitution. My brothers and sisters, I know my time is short, and I want to wind down, but I say a new movement again has formed. And in this new movement together, as we are gathered here, and as we unite in thought and in vision, we shall now move away from hopelessness. We shall now move to hope and confidence and security, because under the distinguished leadership of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, a visionary leader and a party that is driven by the concepts of transformation, of being dynamic, of being responsive, we are now going to band together because our leader has sent the message loud and clear. Let us come together. Let us find those constructive energies. Let us find that latent potential that make us positive and come together and join as we aim to reshape Trinidad and Tobago. We can do it, but we can only do it together when we create the atmosphere to stir our imagination and bring the best and brightest ideas forward and emerge that together and uplift our country. I dream of today into the future as I close, that in our journeys near and far, we can express as a people, we can express and say as a people that Trinidad and Tobago is truly a twin island paradise under the United National Congress. I love you, my brothers and sisters.
Thank you very much, Mr. Danny Maraj, former Senator, United National Congress Senator. And friends, I want you to ponder about that question that he posed to you. Are you better off today than you were prior to September 2015? Can we hear you? Are you better off today? Regrets. Remember that song? Regrets. We move on, ladies and gentlemen, and let me remind you that our broadcast here tonight is courtesy Sadna Petroleum Company Limited, Deulal Enterprises Limited, Peter Kuhlman, and of course our very own chairman, Dr. Glenn Ramadas Singh. And we trust that you are listening to us throughout Trinidad and Tobago as the voices right here in Pluck Road are being shouted loud and clear, and you are letting your government know how they have failed you again and again and again, and the time for change is almost at hand. We continue tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to invite my young friend from Oropouche West, Mr. Alvin Daniel, who is representing his Member of Parliament, Ms. Gopi Singh, and he is the Communications and Research Officer at the Constituency Office. Let us welcome Mr. Alvin Daniel to bring a few words of greetings. Mr. Alvin Daniel, ladies and gentlemen.
Members of the head table, my UNC brothers and sisters, good night. Before I get into the substance of my little contribution tonight, I just want to ask you all a very simple question, and please feel free to answer. Do you all think the PNM could fix this country? Yes, you are right, they cannot. Now, since September 2015, our country has experienced the worst form of governance we have ever seen. Williams, Manning, even Chambers were not as bad and wicked as Keith Rowley. The PNM has destroyed the foundation of love and prosperity our honorable leader Kamla Persad-Bissassa has laid when she was the Prime Minister. You would think the people who boast of being in charge, they're in charge, they're in power, would take responsibility for their incompetence. But yet again, it's the PNM we're dealing with, so they can't expect anything better. You really can't. Imagine today, 2.5 years later, they're still blaming Kamla. It reached so bad that they're blaming Manning, God rest his soul. You can believe that? They're blaming the dead now. They're so clueless. Brothers and sisters, since the PNM has came into power, our nation, we have experienced the most incredible, astronomical crime statistics we've ever seen. Today is the 87th day of the year, and we've already had over 130 murders. 130 murders in 87 days. 189, wow. And the Minister of National Security and the AG, they're trying to sell the idea that the anti-gang bill would be the panacea, the symbol of hope to deal with the crime in this country. But you're not hearing about it again. Dylan don't have time to study that. You know what Dylan's studying? He worried about a court case in the US right now. That's what he's studying. He don't have time to study San Francisco, Pluck Road, Woodland, Laramie. No. The man in charge of putting people in jail, he might end up in jail just now. It's a fact. Another issue I want to talk to you all about tonight is the PNM's disregard for human life. It's the government's duty to preserve order, manage hard economic conditions, to redistribute the economic resources, and preserve the quality of life. The incompetent, Rowley-led PNM have employed a let it swing how it falls mentality. Whatever happen, they just don't care. Now, let me just spend 2 minutes on the real issue we come to talk about here, flooding. We all know 2017 was a very difficult year for Oropouche West. First we had Brett, then in Diwali, and then around Christmas time. That's 3 floods in a matter of 8 months. And what did the PNM do? Tell me, what did the PNM do? Yes, you're right. Rowley was in Tobago playing golf when Brett hit. When he finally decided to grace us with his presence in South, he came with his hands swinging. Nothing for the people of South Trinidad. Then in October, when the water started to rise again, he didn't bother to show up at all. He said he didn't need to be on the ground. These are the facts. I'm not making this up. You can go and check online now. It's there. He said he didn't need to be on the ground. And it's clear the government didn't learn from their mistakes. Because every area that was hit in June with Brett, they get hit again in October. They get hit again around Christmas time. And what has the government done? Nothing. And you know, Rowley's don't care, insensitive, incompetent attitude, it clearly trickled down to the OJT ministers. We at the office have written the Minister of Works and Transport 26 times since Brett to now. This is no exaggeration. 26 letters to the Minister of Works and Transport. No, yeah, he responded twice to say, we have acknowledged your letter, and it's at the Ministry of Works Drainage Division. I can tell you for a fact, before I left the office, I checked all our files, all our documents. As at 4 p.m. today, nothing has been started in Orupu Trust. Absolutely nothing. Now, the MP asked a question about the Tulsa Trace floodgates. That was in February in Parliament. And this is what the minister had to say, and I quote, "As a part of the ministry's drainage program and maintenance work, 2 of these gates at the Quarry River needs complete reconstruction of the entire structure, and 1 gate at the Blackwater Channel has been identified for major repairs. These can be undertaken based on availability of funding in fiscal 2018 program. These gates are included as priority in the National Gate Repair and Reconstruction Program, and repairs will commence as soon as funding becomes available." So the MP then asked the minister to give a tentative date and time that the funding may be available, since he clearly stated it was a priority and the rainy season coming up. He got up and said, in the most crass manner, as soon as funding is available. So tell us, when will the money become available? You have $500 million to fix Tobago Airport. You have $400 million to build a highway. But you can't spend $1 million to fix Tulsa Trace gates. $200 million for stadium, and it still can't. They don't care about us in Orupu Trust. They simply do not care. Nobody. Before I go, I just wanted to bring up some activities that we're actually working at in the office. So, a couple weeks ago, the villagers at Gandhi Village, they staged a protest in relation to some seismic testing that the Petrotrin would have conducted back in 2009. Now, Franklin Khan came down, Kazim Hussein came down, even Rohan Sinanan came down. And to this day, nothing. People's homes destroyed, the roads are impassable. And to this day, absolutely nothing has been done. So what is the point? We need to make the way for a new the leader who would really care about us, who would take care of our constituents, our country. The best prime minister this country has ever seen, Kamala Prasad Bisasa. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alvin Daniel, and touching on some very, very pertinent facts here this afternoon, warming you up to the people of Plock Road who have suffered long and hard in the recent floodings, and nothing has been done for you. I want to recognize in the audience some speakers, some national speakers. I want to recognize Miss Trin City. Mr. Trin City, my apologies, Mr. Trin City. I want to recognize the bellman, the original bellman himself. And I am told we have that very famous voice right here from Faizabad, Mondesi. And Mondesi is here. And of course, they all rang together with our own popular radio spokesman, Councillor Dudnat Meru. Friend, I asked you before, as we wax nostalgic and remember the good old days, I want you to remember during that period of 2010 to 2015, never before in the history of our country had so much been done for so many people in such a short space of time. Never before in the history of our country has our brothers of African descent and our brothers of Indian descent been united in one common cause to build a better Trinidad and Tobago. And we must never allow that period to be forgotten. We must strive and work hard to ensure that that golden age under the leadership of Kamla Persad Bissessa comes back to Trinidad and Tobago for the benefit of ourselves, our family, our children, our grandchildren, and the future generations. And only under the leadership of Kamla Persad Bissessa, many are called, few are chosen, but only one person delivered, Kamla Persad Bissessa. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue. And at the Siparia Regional Corporation, where we strive to serve you to the best of our ability without funding from the government. So much so that our corporation featured prominently in the news because monies from the central government, because we are not a financial generating utility. We depend on subventions from the government. We couldn't meet our legal obligations and we had some problems. But the situation was handled under the dynamic leadership of our chairman, Dr. Glenn Rabada Singh, and the hard-working councillors and aldermen at the Siparia Regional Corporation. And chief amongst which, a true soldier in the battle, fighting for the United National Congress and delivering the goods and services to his burgesses in the electoral district of Mondesi. I want you to put your hands together as we welcome now Councillor Derek Bowen, who will bring us a brief address.
Thank you very much, Chairman, colleagues on the head table, the media, and the residents of Block Road. Good afternoon. Now, this is the People's Forum, so I want to engage you all for a minute or two by assisting me here. I'm going to call out a couple things and you all tell me whether it's a failure or a pass. Right? So we'll start, and I can't call all because it's a bit of a challenge. Wassa. Failure. All right, if always say so. CJ. Failure. Healthcare system. Failure. National security. Failure. Tourism. Dead. Social services. Hey boy. We're on zero so far, eh? And we still have more. But I'll leave some for my colleagues to deal with. I want to touch on a couple things with you all here tonight. And we really as a people need to check ourselves. In 2015, we made the biggest mistake we could have ever made. And we'll pay for that dearly. Hopefully not for too long, but almost certain for 2.5 years again. You know? Mr. Sonidal, is it? He spoke about the lights on this ground. I'm going to give another story. In my community, a place called the Quarters, we call it. It's 4 little communities that, and they are really strong P&M area. And when I took office in 2013, those people never see a paving machine unless they come out by the main road. They hear about box drain. They used to hear about it. And I started doing some work in that community because it was really, deteriorating terribly. And you all know how much is a lot of land? The measurement of a lot of land? 50 by 100. Good. They have a recreation ground maybe about 2,000 feet away. The Minister of Public Utilities, Mr. Leigh Hunt, came down to that community and told the people of Hicklin Village, and I can say this publicly, that he not lighting that ground because UNC get too much votes inside him. But you know what he going to light? It have a little place called Bush Village. Have a piece of land, not even a lot of land. He going to put these kind of lights on it. Isn't that waste? These things cost over $1 million to install. You going to put it on a lot of land? By the time you put them poles and the switch room, you have no place to play? But it's bad, that's the word, bad mind. Are we going to suffer from that? You know? The chairman mentioned the issue with the corporation recently. But let me give you a little story about that. Our technical people came up with a way to pay the gentleman his money. And I want to listen carefully because it's kind of confusing. So they said, listen, each vote we go save $20 here, $20 there, $20 there. Although we're not getting that money, we're saving it. So we go take all the money that we're not getting, that we're saving, and pay the man. Now, all you understand what I said? All you understand that? Because it takes me weeks to understand what they tell me. How could we pay them with something we don't have? You understand? But we saving what we don't have. It was mind-boggling to me. But the PNM went on the radio and said we refuse to pay the gentleman. And that was absolutely false. So we mad them because they go against the court. We's not the CJ. We are no CJ here, you know. We can't go against the court. But they keep filtering and feeding us false information. Fake news is the new thing. You know. I'll give you a next example. You know, every single URP office is fully staffed. When last time I see a URP crew doing anything? Well, you're serious? But the office is staffed. They're being paid. I had the pleasure of being employed there in 2013, around that period of time. And I was at the Point 14 area. And for the year, I was one of the engineering people. We would do over 90 projects in 1 year. Over 90, like one region, you know. 2.5 years, I have never seen URP do a single project anywhere in this island. Unless they do it somewhere in Labadra, you know. I don't go up there regularly. You understand? I had the distinct displeasure of sitting in a meeting just before they sent me home, which is normal. That's quite all right. I think the gentleman's name was Parson. I think he's the program manager now, I think it is. I'm not sure. I think it was, he was the South Regional Manager at the time when they just took over office. And he called all the engineering and technical people to a meeting at Shogunas there. Was it the Mother Building in Meru? It's about where URP used to have they have an office there somewhere in Shogunas. Factory Road. Hear what this gentleman said. Listen carefully. You must stop in front of all these people and tell them, you're not doing no project in no UNC area. I stand by my word and I have proved that. I was shocked that the man would actually say that in a public forum like that. That just shows that they have no decency. None. No decency whatsoever. So are you telling me that UNC people don't pay tax? We are a bunch of delinquents or what? Huh? I don't understand, and we sit and take this. You know what's our problem in this country? We will sit here now and quarrel, and tomorrow we go back to normal. So these people, they know that. The PNM knows that, you know. We will sit and we quarrel, and then tomorrow, what are we going to do, boy? But we have to stop that, or else we reach nowhere. And we will stay here and suffer and suffer and suffer. I have seen governments fall for less than what this government doing. This is a madness, you know. That sea bridge thing there, where they're transferring people from boat to boat day and night. You all know how dangerous that is, brother? You know what you're talking about there? You ever see that anywhere in the world? This is a serious, people, this is not no joke, you know. We are going nowhere quickly. And if we do not as a people get up and stand up and say enough is enough, Crapo smoke we pipe. You know? I want to compliment Councillor Meru for this initiative. I think it's a fantastic initiative. And I thank the people for coming out here. You know, and I want to also publicly thank all those contractors and little families who came out in the flood and assisted the people of Woodland, St. John, Akbar, Trace. You know what, my paws raised. I was in St. John Trace for most of the time, and I was waist high in water. And when you see people from outside, they come with their 2 baskets and they could bring 2 lunch or 2 cases of water. That shows that we are still human beings. And we still have good people in this country. And if we do not put a stop to this government, all Crapo smoke we pipe. I want to thank you all very, very much. Have a wonderful night.
Let's hear it one more time for your hard-working councillor for Mondesi, Councillor Derek Bowen, saying it as it is. Remember, friends, long time they used to boast that you used to win in the east and in the west and in the south and in the north. And now all they can say is scandal in the east, scandal in the west, scandal in the south, scandal all over the place. From the port to Petrotrin to Tobago to national security, judiciary, all over. It's almost a failed state, but the UNC is there. We continue. And our next speaker is a woman of substance, a woman who I have the pleasure to know for almost 30 years, toiling hard in the vineyards of the politics, striving for better representation for her burgesses and for equality for all women. She produced a minister of government after her very husband was one of the hardest working councillors at the Siparia Regional Corporation, and she leads a team at the Siparia Regional Corporation working hard on your behalf. Let us put our hands together and welcome Mrs. Chandra Ramadasing Otahiti Rosilak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The Chairman of Siparia Regional Corporation, Dr. Glenn Ramadasing, and my fellow colleagues at Siparia Regional Corporation, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I stand here today very, very proud, especially in the village of Pluck Road. I am a granddaughter of this village. My late grandfather, Mr. Ramnath Akalu, those of you would have known him. I think Akalu Trace was named after him. So I'm very, very proud to be here. The last time I was here was during the flood. And we couldn't come out here. We had to go way up on the pavilion to help our brothers and sisters in this area. It was very, very heart-rendering to have to come here and see the plight of these people. My time is very short, as I was told by the chairman. I just have 1 minute. So I just want to stand here today and endorse what my fellow councillors and those who spoke before us. I want to let you know, brothers and sisters, we have a plan for you. Under this government, we will get nothing. We got nothing, we will get nothing. Right now at the corporation, if you want a barrel of oil sand, you can't get it. No gravel, no oil sand. And I will tell you something. From 2010 to 15, we was using hot mix and cold mix to pave road. You know what? In Labre, Faizabad, we begging Lake Asphalt to give us pitch. So under this government, we have moved from hot mix and cold mix, and we reached the pitch. That is where we were 30 and 35 years ago. I thank you all for coming, and may God bless all of you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mrs. Chandra Ramadasing, Councillor Otahiti Rosilak. To the point, but very, very effective. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that your voices must be heard. You cannot only come here tonight and voice your concerns and then stay quiet tomorrow. You have to adopt an approach where you demand your just due and ensure you get what you deserve as equal citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. And as I talk about equality, there's a place in Trinidad and Tobago that is often forgotten. I dare say it is often overlooked because it is perhaps closer to Venezuela than it is to other towns in Trinidad and Tobago. And we have a councillor for that area who not only does yeoman service and representing his burgesses very effectively, but he continues in his struggle to ensure that they get a fair share of the national pie. Hardworking, dedicated, and committed to uplifting the people of Cedros, your councillor, Shankar Tilok Singh. Let us put our hands together.
Chairman of tonight's proceeding, Alderman Dinesh Sankar Singh, and our political leader who is definitely hearing us over the air. We send greetings from Pluck Road here at this recreation ground. The Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Chairman of the Regional Corporation, Dr. Glenn Ramadasing, fellow councillors, members of the UNC family and residents from this area, members of the media, pleasant good night. Yes, the battle cry is on, and we are here today to signal to the wicked PNM that they must go, they must go, they must go. My time is very short. But just as your cry, when you was in difficult times, the voices of Cedros came together and we sent supplies. And I know Councillor Meru distributed 2 loads of essential supplies to the residents of here, and we continue to support. Today, we have the same water problems down in Ikakas when residents for almost 3-4 weeks, not a drop of water, right? And the residents, we came together and highlighted and used, and I am urging you to use the People's Parliament. And today, the call of order from Councillor Meru, right here, the People's Parliament has been called to order. Let them know that we are sending the signal and calling our troops in the People's Parliament. And this is where it starts in Pluck Road. And we'll continue throughout the Southwestern Peninsula, flying the flag of the United National Congress, fighting the wicked PNM to get them out of order. Terence Dial Singh applied just a short while ago to send a press release in terms of the health facilities in the electoral district of Cedros. I'm telling, warning, don't touch the services down there. He is saying when we didn't have water, the facilities was open. He compromised the whole system of public health. I am calling on that minister. He don't even have honor to step aside and let the health facilities continue to operate how before 2015, what he meant to have the necessary medication for poor people like you and I, ladies and gentlemen. Failure continue to fail. He removed the 24/7 ambulance service that we had in the Cedros district. No people in Cedros, when they fall ill after hours, they have to travel or hire a taxi or get a transport from Ikakas to San Fernando General Hospital. That is how bad it is. Why are you removing these essential services that we have in the healthcare system? And the instruction came direct from his office to the communication officer from the SWRHA. Don't touch nothing from Cedros because we're coming for you. That is the call. And we will continue to mobilize our support and continue to hit all the necessary institutions. Continue to want to deprive our people, our East Indian people, our African brothers and sisters on the floor. We will come for you because the services is not north of the Caroni River, not only in Port of Spain. Tell them, and we're telling them, and we're sending the signal. And when I come before you and we continue to hold ranks and file, we must be prepared. We are left no one behind because we continue to struggle and continue from the cane field to the chains of slavery as we break them and we go forward. No PNM and no 1% will take that right from you. This is our birthright we are fighting for, ladies and gentlemen. And I leave this message for you. Let your voices rise and let us be ready to continue to fight the wicked PNM and the Yellow Army continue to march forward. Forward ever, backward never, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you this morning.
Thank you very much, the Cedros Tiger. Councillor Shankar, Tilok Singh, ladies and gentlemen, we're keeping it tight. We have to go forward. And as Councillor said, no government, no laptops, no computers, no health facilities, no gate. It is the no government. We continue here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. With the limited funds we have at the Siparia Regional Corporation, we are working hard to ensure that you, the burgesses, get your just due and a fair share of the national pie. A man who has lent his voice to the struggle of the people, not now, for years. He holds the distinction of serving as one of the longest serving councillors at the Siparia Regional Corporation. A man fondly known as the voice of the voiceless, a struggler, a fighter, a leader. I want to welcome now to the microphone your councillor, Councillor Dudnat Meru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. A pleasant good night once again, ladies and gentlemen, to my colleagues on the head table and to my colleagues from the Member of Parliament office in Urupuch West. Unfortunately, the members of Parliament are stuck in Parliament this evening, hence the reason she could not have been here. I apologize for her absence. Today, we have started the revolution for equal opportunities in Pluck Road. It is starting in Pluck Road tonight. We are going to lead that battle. But without your support, we will get nowhere. Because Councillor Meru alone cannot go by the Minister office in Port of Spain to protest. Councillor Meru alone cannot block the road in Pluck Road. I am going to write the Minister next week and ask him to meet a delegation of persons who are affected by the flooding from the Pluck Road area next week. If we do not get that meeting, and we do not meet with the minister, I am sending a warning to him. He will not like what Block Road people will do and how we're going to misbehave. I want to let him know it will be worse than the beatum. It will be worse than the beatum. I am sending that message to him. We have sat down for too long and allowed the PNM to take advantage of us. The resources of this country belongs to all of us and not the PNM and their supporters. It is time that we stand up and demand our equal share of the pie in Block Road. We have a landslide in Timital. There's huge H-beams driven in the center of the road. I met the Minister of Works in Port of Spain. I blocked him and I said, Minister, I need those landslips to be attended to. He said, Mr. Meru, landslips are being dealt with in order of priority. Well, if that landslip in Timital is not priority by the end of April, I telling you, nothing is passing to go San Francisco Pinal, and nothing is going San Fernando through Block Road, and nothing is even going down on the Siparia Road. We are going to shut down the southern region of this country. I demand that you meet with us and level with us and bring some relief to our people. We are coming for our share. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Dodnat Meru, a man of the people, a man working on your behalf, delivering the goods and services to you as he has done over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining with us here tonight in Block Road under the leadership of the chairman of the Siparia Regional Corporation. This gentleman has served you well in different capacities. I always hold him proud to know the sterling contribution he has made as a Minister of Social Development, as a representative of the people, as somebody who genuinely cared, who reached out for the poor, the disabled, the disadvantaged. That gentleman is now serving today in a different capacity as chairman of the Siparia Regional Corporation, where he continues that struggle to lead for equality, lead by example, ensuring the goods and services are delivered to the burgesses of the Siparia Regional Corporation, as he did when he had led the ministry. This gentleman will continue to do so. I want you to welcome now to the microphone our featured speaker tonight, the chairman of the Siparia Regional Corporation, Dr. Glenn Ramadan Singh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for your very kind introduction. And I want to thank all the speakers on the platform for their wonderful contributions. Please give them a round of applause, including the star of the show, the councillor for this area, Mr. Dodnat Meru. I also want to commend the councillor for not only talking down to the people, but let the people talk up and down and straight to the politicians and the people in authority. That is what we call a people's forum. Power is really in the hands of the powerless. And it is the powerless that must come together and remove the power-hungry, the incapable, and those who are inefficient and corrupt from the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and replace it with a government that could perform. Kamla Prasad Bisesa is the alternative and next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. We are here today with hundreds of you. We could pull a crowd. If you saw the PNM meeting in La Hoqueta, Talparo, it was as if they meet in a barn. You know, it's a barn in a shed, and they cuddle up together and shouting with just about 15 or 20 of them. Today, hundreds of you are on this recreation ground demanding equity, bread, and justice from the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Councillor Meru told you that we are not afraid here to stand up for our rights. We are tax-paying citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and we deserve our share of the national pie. We deserve food card, we deserve disability grants, and when we have flood, just like Sandy Grandi, we deserve the Prime Minister to come here, even though he come 2 months ago, come back and share in the losses of the people, the psychological trauma, and the want and the need to see those in authority walk the floods with you and stay with you until better times have come. We are demanding that here today, and I want to bring a special message to you, the people of Woodland and surrounding areas, and we are talking to the nation. Use your money wisely. Things are very hard in Trinidad and Tobago. And by the way the Como start looking, it is going to get better. I have a sign in San Fernando Hospital. They say, listen, we have no Pampers, we have no toilet paper, we have no glucose strips, we have nothing. Stay home and test your family for pressure and sugar, and then come to the hospital. You know, it had a time you couldn't get a loan from the bank unless you could prove to them that you didn't need it. Now, you could only go to the hospital when you're dead in. That is how bad it is under this government. But this is the Siparia Regional Corporation showing leadership. We told our Prime Minister, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, we want to go and talk to the people, and we want the people to talk on the airwaves. We want to create an earthquake here because we were devastated in a very terrible flood. And it seems as if there's no sympathy. When you talk to the people in the ministry and you say a lot of the people didn't get help, they say, oh, we tried. They're only surveying. They only take a name, address, and phone number, putting it in the back pocket and pelting it in a dustbin when they go to Port of Spain. Where are the names of the people who you took care, and where are the grants for them? How many of them got grants? I saw only about 5 persons got grants, and that probably because some family or friend that they know. This is despicable. This is unfair. And this is not the treatment that the good citizens of Woodland deserve from the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And we will not tolerate it. We understand what is happening. If Siparia Regional Corporation had voted for the PNM and was a PNM corporation, would have been a different color, would have been a different phenomenon, would have been a different kettle of fish. You remember a certain minister stood up in the platform. He was the former Minister of Local Government, and he just became the Minister of Energy. Smiling Frankie. And Smiling Frankie say, all you vote PNM in Faizabad, vote we in the Siparia Regional Corporation, and we going to give you a big gift. Well, we didn't vote, but he gave himself a gift. The court in Faizabad, you can find out more about it. Not from me. Siparia Regional Corporation is one of the most bitterly fought elections in the history of local government in Trinidad and Tobago. Things so bad sometime in Siparia, when the PNM win, they put a fella called Vidya Deuki Singh as the chairman, PNM chairman. You know that name? That is from A&V Drilling, that company that is involved in so much losses to the national purse, allegedly. There were times there was UNC, and there were times that there were PNM. But the greatest time in the Siparia Regional Corporation was under the United National Congress, when you saw growth and development, focus on youth, sport, and culture. It is Kamla Prasad Bisasa that built one of the best cycling tracks in Siparia, the Owen Park facility. One of the best football grounds. She has a swimming pool there, all built under Kamla Prasad. So Siparia has been enriched. she built the Daisy Voise Hub to celebrate the memory of Daisy Voise, one of our musical icons. Today, she also built Plaza Siparia, which is a jewel to the people of Siparia and the regional corporation for $55 million. That is the kind of money that has been spent. You know what's the truth at Siparia? We have under maintenance of building grounds and pastures, we're supposed to collect $4.82 million. You know what they give us? 1.9 million. We are supposed to collect for the local health authority 18.437 million. They give us 8.317. They're supposed to give us for the maintenance of state traces and local roads 21.8 million. They give us 9.8 million. As of January, we were $7 million short to run the corporation. And today this team has not sent home one worker and not one rubbish truck stopped working. But you know what they want us to do? They try to trap us. They said, don't mind you again money. You allocated money and we will talk to the minister. So here what? Take out the money from the garbage truck, take out the money from salaries, take out some money, chitchy up and make $750,000 and pay this fella. But it is a ruse. It is a trap. They wanted to put us in a corner and shut down the corporation because it is a UNC Health corporation. We said no, we will wait until the minister and the permanent secretary gets involved in this matter. This is a matter before our time, and it is the administration, many of whom were PNM functionaries, that bungled that matter and caused that bill to not be paid for so many years and for that man to suffer. And we made an application and we passed a motion that the minister and the ministry get involved and give us $140,000 right away as a goodwill payment, and the rest we will give him in part payments. That was the resolution of our council, not to shut down the garbage truck, not to shut down the water truck, not to send home anybody. We know how hard things are, and we have 601 employees. There's 601 families in Siparia. We are praying and hoping and holding the fort and managing not to send anybody home. It was a PNM strategy to paralyze the corporation, to shut it down, and then say, watch them, they can't do nothing for all you. We stood up against the threat of being levied upon. We had the courage and conviction to know that Almighty God would have found a way for us. And when we looked at our unspent balances, $4.7 million came to us. We will pay the bill. We will build more roads. We will build more drains. We will develop Siparia rapidly over the next 2 years until we remove this government and put the MP for Siparia as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Glenn Ramadan Singh, the chairman of the Siparia Regional Corporation, delivering a very powerful message, reminding you that we at the Siparia Regional Corporation, we struggle daily to ensure that we enrich your lives by delivering the goods and services to you. Because our motto and mantra is, serve the people, serve the people, serve the people. Words that were set for us by our visionary political leader, Mrs. Kamla Persad Bissessa, the incoming Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the chairman, aldermen, councillors of the Siparia Regional Corporation, I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for joining with us this afternoon. I want to thank the members of the media for joining with us and for carrying this program live. I want to thank my friend, Mr. Archie, here very early, ensuring that the good news is delivered to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much, my friend and brother. And to all of you for joining with us, taking time off from your very busy schedule and come and hearing the good word, the good news that a better and brighter future lay for us tomorrow with the return of Kamla Persad Bissessa and the United National Congress to government. We urge you to continue to struggle, stand up for your rights, stand with us and let us continue and build this momentum. Thank you very much, and I bid you good night, Godspeed, and safe journey home. Let's hear it, Mr. DJ.
Magic island.